Hello, welcome back. Well, even though we had a good amount of the interior already back together prior to paint, we needed to hook back up the electrical as well as the entertainment center prior to installing the refrigerator, microwave, and the rest of our interior components. We quickly completed those tasks and immediately began to see light at the end of the tunnel with the completion of our interior. And we excitedly moved on to the exterior hardware, starting with the rubrail install. And who better of a person to do that than our elder in the group, and that is Mr. Gary Wilson. A little background on Mr. Wilson. At 16 years old, he went to work for this boat building company in Rockland, Massachusetts, called, you guessed it, Boston Whaler. By the time Gary was 20 years old, he was the lead fabricator for the government and commercial division of Boston Whaler. So needless to say, he's installed a few rubrails on whalers in his time. However, even he'll tell you, back then, they didn't use hard, rigid rubrails like they use today. Most of the rubrails back then were in fact rubber, hence rubrail. No, that's fake news, but it sounded good, didn't it? The rubber rubrails were and are a lot easier to install than today's rigid vinyl rubrails. Rigid are more difficult making bends that you need to heat the product up, so it makes those bends, ensuring it looks factory. So what better person than the man himself, Gary Wilson. The rigid rubrail sections come in 20-foot sections and very much need two people working together closely, as well as your fair share of jigs to hold it in place. Because as you heat the rubrail sections to make these bends, any pressure in the wrong direction will warp or distort beyond repair. Working with Joe, Gary went around the perimeter and installed the rigid sections to the hull to deck joint. After being sure all these joints were flush smooth, he then began the installation to his 1-inch stainless insert, which we will absolutely thank Boston Whaler for providing us the two aft sections. Pre-bent for Boston Whaler by their rubrail manufacturer, Barbour Plastic Products, which is in fact only a few towns away from here in Brockton, Massachusetts. The gentleman that runs that division is Mark Demers. He's known as the rubrail guy. The number of manufacturers that use their product is too long to list. Mark's been providing Mattan's rubrail products for our restorations for the last 20 years, as well as providing the rubrails for our Mattan Classic collections. Yes, this was a little plug for Mark, who deserves it, that he's truly an expert with the product that he's provided the industry for decades. Gary finished up the installation of the stainless insert by hand tightening each screw, yes, leaving all perpendicular in position. Hey, that's making it Mattan. And speaking of making it Mattan, when we return, stay with Gary as he goes through the polishing process of some of the stainless steel components as we work through the assembly of our 420. So stay tuned.
If you like this segment, click right here. If you like this segment and you want to watch the whole episode, click right here.